Hola Year 10, I hope you all had a good half term and that you've had some time to rest as well as get some homework and things done. So in today's lesson, this first hour, we're going to be looking at a longer text about Barcelona and understanding first of all how we can recognise familiar words in a longer text to help us get to grips with the rest of it, using key information then in a text to help us understand more of the text, and also recognising the future tense and seeing if we can use it correctly, which we practiced and learnt last week, and we're going to see some examples in the text today. So in your books, please put the title Una visita a Barcelona, and we're working from home, so en casa, martes el 3 de noviembre. Or you don't have to do this in your book, you can do it all on a computer, but obviously if you're doing that you will need to make sure you get the work printed and stuck in your book. Okay, so first of all then, we're going to recap some of these shop words we saw last week, la panadería, pastelería, and so on, okay? So what I want you to do is you're going to write the product here, these 10 products into your book in Spanish, in Español, and then write where you would buy each one. So these are muddled up. So I would not buy un libro de español en la panadería. I would buy un libro de español. Where would I buy it? Muy bien, en la librería. Okay, so in your book you'd write un libro de español dash en la librería. Okay, so pause the video now. There might be one or two words in here that we have not done before. Most of them have, even if you're not sure of una caja de, it's got a cognate in it. The only one maybe you might have a bit more of a struggle with is cerdo, but the others have all got a link to a word we've done in them. So process of elimination, you should have one left for the last one for the yes, but go back and look at foods in your book, or if you really need to, then use an online dictionary like wordreference.com. Okay. Right, so if you've unpaused, that means now you've matched all these up, so let's check them. So we already know un libro de español was en la librería. Un kilo de uvas means a kilo of grapes, so that would be en la frutería. Una caja de chocolates means a box of chocolates, so that would be en la bombonería. So that was one we didn't do last week, it means sweets. Sweet shop, sorry, bonbon is a link to the French there, bonbon, with sweets, okay? Obviously we know caramelos, the other Spanish word for sweets, okay? Un kilo de pescado means a kilo of fish, so even without knowing what pescado means, it looks similar to pescadería, so fishmongers. Unos zapatos de tacón negros, so even if you weren't sure what tacón, so heels, so black-heeled shoes would be in a zapatería. Un pastel de manzana, you might have muddled this up and put frutería, because manzana means apples, but hopefully you saw the link pastel, pastelería, because pastel means a cake, so a cake shop. Una barra de pan, a loaf of bread, en la panadería. Unos aretes de diamantes, so that looks like diamonds, doesn't it, in the joyería, the jewelry shop or jewelers. Una aspirina, aspirin, which is painkiller in la farmacia. And then cerdo means pork, so un kilo in la carnicería. Okay, so we've recapped those words a little to help get them more into our long-term memory. Let's look at the future tense now. So without looking in your book or grammar book, just have a think, maybe make some notes. What do you remember about how we make the future tense? How in Spanish would you say, I am going to do something, or we are going to do something? Can you remember? Okay, so you've hopefully paused and then taken some time, so let's have a look at it then. So first of all, we have to get what we call the present tense of ir, to go. So the different ways to say I am going, you are going, and so on, the present tense of it. Then we add the infinitive, but we've got to have something else in the middle, okay? We have to have this a. So voy, I'm going, a, to, plus the infinitive. Or we could have vamos, va, and so on. We are going, he is going, but we've got to have the a sandwiching the vamos and the infinitive together. Without the a, it will not make the future tense. Think of it as like a sandwich. We've got The present tense of ir is one slice of bread. The infinitive is the other. It's not a sandwich if you just put two pieces of bread together. We need a filling, and the a is that filling that glues it together. So what would voy a vivir mean? I am going to live. What would vamos a comer mean? We are going to eat. What about voy a beber? Now hopefully you've spotted that that is not future tense. It literally means I am going to, I drink. It doesn't make sense. I need to have the infinitive there. Voy a beber, to drink. Okay, so you've already got the notes of the future tense in your book, so you don't need to write any of this down unless you want to write it again to help you remember it better. You can. So what you're going to do now is have a look at these 10 frases, these 10 sentences, and decide which of them you think are the future tense. So you only need to write down the phrases which are in the future tense and translate them. So if we look at this one, for example, vamos al parque. Hopefully you can recognise that vamos means we are going to the park, but I have not got 3 parts to it. We are going to, and then the infinitive. It means we're going to the park right now rather than in the future. So that one wouldn't be the future tense, so I don't need to write that one down. Okay, so keep reading through them. You might not understand them all. There's actually some past tense in here as well as future and present. So you don't need to understand all of it, you just need to recognise which of these have got that future tense pattern. Somebody is going the letter A and then the infinitive, okay? So pause, take some time to find them, and then continue. So if you're feeling a little stuck and you've paused and had a go, just to give you a bit more of a clue so you can have another little try. Okay, there are 5 future tense sentences that you need to find, okay? Right, so let's have a look at them then. So we've got number 3 was future, and the translation is tomorrow I am going to the Liberty Stadium to see Swansea City. Number 4 is future, you are going, to read your favourite book, adjectives come after, which is called Harry Potter. Number 6 is future, they are going to build, construct, you could also say, a castle. 7 is future, you are going, it's plural, but you wouldn't need to write that necessarily, or say you are going to buy bread in the bakery. My brother is going to rent a car. We saw that verb last week, alquilar. Okay, so either if you're on the computer, you can insert a tick and crosses from Google Images, or if you've got a red pen, mark in red, or otherwise in another colour, whatever you've got at home. Okay. Okay, so if we wanted to write in the future, but we got something in the present tense, or we're used to more writing in the present tense, it's very simple how to put it into the future, but sometimes people can get a bit confused and end up muddling the present with the future. So we're going to look at a few examples. Say, for example, I knew how to just say I live, vivo, in the present tense. But I want to say, like, in the future, I'm going to live abroad, or I'm going to live by the seaside. And I'm getting myself muddled because I know the present tense is vivo. Let's look at how we break it down to put it into the future. So we need to follow our 3 steps. Okay, so if we want to say I am going to live, I'll start with the I am going part, which is, can you write it down? So boy. Okay. Then we must not forget our a in the middle, so boy a. Okay, then we need to not put this vivo afterwards. That's a mistake lots of people make. I've got to put the infinitive, vivir, afterwards. Voy a vivir, I'm going to live. Because voy a vivo would mean I am going, I live. So we must make sure we're not just sticking our present tense at the end of it. Even though we're talking about I, okay, and we talk about we need the right ending of the person, so this is the I ending, but this is the present tense I ending. Okay, we've already got our person in the boy. That tells me who is going to live, because that means I am going, not anybody else, okay? Okay, let's have a go at another example. So write this with me as we go. So if I wanted to talk about somebody else, so or it. So es means he, she, or it is. So there's my present tense. So if I wanted to say something like, it is going to be sunny tomorrow, or my city is going to be more modern in the future or something. And I know es means it is, but I need to be careful now that I don't muddle my present with my future. So if I was going to say it is going to be instead of it is, I've obviously got to start with my it is going. So find that in your grammar books in the list of I am going, you are going, he or she, it is going, and so on. So ba is how we say it is going. It also means he is going or she is going. What do I need next to make it future? So we've got to have our a in the middle, ba a. Okay, and then we need our infinitive, the whole verb. So the whole verb of it is the verb comes from is to be, and this one is ser, not the estar. So I don't want to put es at the end. I've got to have my infinitive. Va a ser, it is going to be. If I'd put the es, va a es would mean it is going, it is. Okay, so we should start to see that my person is in this part of it. I don't need the person here, I need the infinitive, okay? So now you're going to have a go at putting all of these phrases, por las frases al futuro, okay? Start, first of all, without any hints. So, I live in a rural town, un pueblo rural. How would you say I'm going to live? So, my city is industrial. How would you say my city is going to be industrial? Okay, I have to take the car. How to say I'm going to have to take the car? So it's this verb here. So try and do it first of all without any hints, okay? And then, but if you are struggling, you can unpause the video again and the infinitives will appear that these verbs here come from. And the person will appear that we're talking about. Because obviously we need to be careful. Is this I am going, or you are going, or he is going? Which one do I need to put it into? And if you're not sure, I said look at the end of each verb. Vivo, tengo, es, mi barrio es, vivimos. Look at all those endings and match it to the present tense. Because if you're not sure which endings are mos, if you look at your present tense verb endings, which person ends in a mos, and that should give you a clue. Or which person ends in en, which person ends just in a. Okay, some of them are irregular, like es and son. So if you're not sure and you can't find it in your grammar book, then use the hints that will appear. So these are all in the present tense. You need to make them into the future tense. And what you could do if you're still stuck is maybe look at the answers to the first couple as we go through them, and then carry on the rest. Okay, if you're finding this okay, you might be okay with getting up to 7, 8 and 9. And then you might even be able to translate 4 of them of your choice. Okay, so pause the video now, write the correct sentence in the future in your book, and if you need help, unpause. Otherwise, when you're ready, check them with us. Okay, so here are the infinitives. Okay, so this is to live, to be, to have, and so on, that all of these verbs here come from. And this is the person that each of these sentences is talking about. Okay, so let's have a look at the answers now then, because this isn't easy, especially a few of the ones towards the end. Okay, so number 1 should say, voy a vivir, I am going to live in a rural town. Vivo was our original, I live, this is I'm going to live. We originally had my city is industrial, my city is going to be. So I needed the it form here, which is the same as he and she. We originally had I have, which is tengo. When we put it with que, it makes it I have to. I have to take the car. So I'm going to have to take the car. I am going, voy a tener, to take, to have, sorry. I am going to have to take the car. Okay. Va a ser muy ruidoso y sucio. It is going to be very noisy and dirty. Okay, instead of it is very noisy and dirty. We originally had my area is big, my suburb is big. We now need to say my suburb is going to be. Mi barrio va a ser, is going to be. We need the he, she or it form of is going here. We originally had vivimos en las afueras. We live on the outskirts. So mos, vivimos is a we ending, so I need we are going. Vamos a vivir, to live on the outskirts. Now muchas personas means lots of people. We originally had viven, the they ending, live on the coast. If I was going to say lots of people are going to live on the coast, this is the spelling of are going that goes with they. Okay, it's different for each person, remember. Van a vivir. Now, poca gente means very few people. So we had before, poca gente recicla, very few people recycle. And although people, we're talking about more than one person, la gente, people, in Spanish is a singular noun. It's considered as, we use the he, she or it ending, okay, which you would have seen in the present tense. Recicla, it ended in an A. If a verb ends in A, it's a he, she or it spelling. Okay, so very few people are going to recycle. And finally, shops, son means are. So we had shops are always modern. Shops are going to be always modern. So we need the they ending because son is they. Okay, so I've just gone over the translations as we did it if you've translated any of them. So mark these. And if you're feeling stuck about the future, please go over some of that. Maybe practice some future things. You can just Google Spanish future activities. We're going to do a little bit of another activity in the second hour on the future tense. But don't feel panicked if you're stuck on that. It will come. It's our first tense we've looked at. Okay? Right, so now we're going to do a reading activity. So you'll find in the lesson the text to download. If you have a printer at home and you want to do this in your book, you can. Otherwise, for the first activity, you can just simply write out the words or phrases that you find rather than highlighting them. If you're doing it in your book, if you're doing it on the computer, then obviously you can highlight on the computer or draw circles around or however you want to do it. But I'm not expecting you to print this at home. Like I said, you could just write out the words. So task 1, you're going to underline or highlight all the cognates. So words that look like an English word. This is a really good way of getting to grips with the text, okay? I've numbered the paragraphs here just to structure it a little better because we haven't looked at a text in this length before to do with this topic, okay? So pause the video, highlight any or underline any words that look like the English so we can start to get to grips with this text. Okay, so we should be ready to move on and have a look at the cognates. So hopefully we found noreste, looks a bit like northeast. Región looks like region. And capital as well, capital. Atracciones looks like attractions. Museos, museums. Galerías de arte, art galleries. Oh, that's moved across there. It should be visitar, to visit. Familia looks like family. Parque looks like park. Centro, center. And zoológico looks like zoological or zoo there. Okay. Paragraph 3, we've got tren, looks a bit like train. Autobus, you can see the word bus there, like auto. Estación looks a little like station, because you know all ción words are shun in English. And there it is again. And centro again. Centro again. Cine, okay, looks a bit like the start of cinema. Restaurante is the same because we use the word restaurant in French, which is actually a French word, in English, sorry. And then autobus. Okay, and finally also there's favorita. Okay, so now we can see roughly, I can see in here, I can see it's like an introduction by and where it is in Spain and what it is. I've got lots of words to do with things you might visit in this paragraph. I've got words here to do with travel in this one. A couple of other attractions in this one here. And so it tells me roughly now what each paragraph is about. What you're now going to do is to find the following words in the text and either write them or type them into your work, okay? So they go in order of the text, and if you can find these, then it's going to help you understand the text better. Because if I know that somewhere in the text is it's located in, you can arrive, and so on. It's going to give me more clues about what the text is about. So don't put these into Google because they might be structured slightly differently. See if you can find them in your text, and then when you're ready to unpause and check them, then do so. So we've got se situa en, which is a nicer way of saying Barcelona is in Spain. You could say is situated in, se situa en. Me encanta la ciudad, I love the city. Hay muchas atracciones. Por ejemplo, se puede visitar. Es fácil ir a. Se puede llegar. En el centro de la ciudad. Es mi ciudad favorita. Okay, so check those, and then we'll go on to task 3. So what you're now going to do is answer the questions in English. And now that we've done 2 activities which get us to grips better with the text, answering the questions should be relatively straightforward. There might be 1 or 2 pieces of vocabulary you're still not sure of, but let's see what you can work out from the text. So pause, answer the questions in English, either on the sheet or in your book, and then check your answers after. Okay, so you might have mentioned either visit museums, art galleries, the Gaudi Park, Sagrada Familia Cathedral, the zoo or zoological park, beach, department store is a new word for us, almacén, do shopping, cinema or restaurants, because she mentions that later on in the text. So any of those 3. They love going to the zoo or zoological park in the centre. They mention plane, avión, tren, coche, barco, autobús. Okay, so you might have needed to look 1 or 2 of those up, or you might have been able to guess from like common sense and that sort of thing. Okay, and then finally either go to centre with friends, go shopping, cinema, or eat in a restaurant. Okay. Final activity with this then is you need to make up some questions for the answers that are already given. So what question would make logical sense? They go in order of the text, so find where the answer is and make up a logical question in English that would match the answer that's already given. Okay, so here's some examples of what your question might have looked like. So where is Barcelona? In the northeast of Spain. What is the name of the cathedral? La Sagrada Familia. What doesn't he or she like doing? Because almacén means going to department store. Where's the bus station? How will they get home tomorrow? What is their favourite city? Okay. Great. So to finish this lesson here, before we have your break, and then we'll be doing something different in the second lesson, what I want you to do is look at this paragraph about Barcelona without looking at the actual text or your book or anything. I want you to write 1 to 7. And all of those orange words there are missing from somewhere in here, okay? So I want you to work out which order they would go in. So what would be gap number 1? Would it make sense to say Barcelona es una ciudad, or Catedral es una ciudad, in España es una ciudad, and so on? What would make sense? So you obviously need to understand the text itself, but looking at the grammar can help too. So for example, if we look at this word el coming before this gap, I know that el is, what does it mean? Right, so it's the masculine word for the. So therefore a masculine word is going to come after, okay? Or we've got la here, so I know that a feminine word is going to come after. Or I've got here se puede visitar. We just learnt what se puede means and visitar. So if this is visit, what kind of thing is going to come after, okay? I could look at some of these words here. Divertida is in the feminine spelling. Okay, so that's going to give me a clue about what sort of thing it's going to describe. Okay, so pause the video and write 1 to 7 and where you think these words need to go. So we've got gap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so you should be ready to check these now if you've unpaused. So we have Barcelona is gap 1. Barcelona is a city in the northeast, noreste of Spain. Me encanta, I love the city because it is divertida. City is feminine, so it has to be divertida. There are lots of attractions. For example, you can visit the museum and the cathedral. Okay, so well done. All of the work you've done is going to be submitted on Moodle in the assignment drop. Okay, you can do it at the end of the second hour, that's fine. Or you can submit what you've done so far now and then submit the rest after. Just one other thing to note is the homework you needed to do by today, writing about your town. I sent an email to show where you need to submit that, and hopefully you can see that in the lesson area of town anyway on GCSE Spanish. And there is what we call a rubric there, which will show you what is expected. So if you can't see that when you click in the assignment, let me know. But it should show you there's 10 marks available. The grammar that we should be checking so that we can get as many marks as possible for it. Okay. So if you have not completed that and submitted it, then that needs to be done. It should have been done by today. I do appreciate you being on half term and you are supposed to relax, but obviously we need to do a little bit of homework because otherwise it's a fortnight of no Spanish. So if you have not completed that by today, then it needs to be done before the end of the week so I can check them before our lesson next Tuesday. Okay, so it's your break time now, unless this has taken you longer than the hour, and I will see you back here after break, so I guess that will be 10. Okay, adios.